one little a glimmer of hope here. Did you see the court decision about fluoride that just came out? And the federal court has ruled that the EPA must now regulate and limit levels of fluoride in the water because of the risk of fluoride lowering children's IQs. That's a significant victory.
Well, let me, if I may, contribute to this discussion, because there was a research scientist, I think his name was Dr. Yamianis, who wrote a book 40 years ago about this. And in his research, he revealed how in the 1950s, city after city in America had referenda that stopped or intended to stop the use of fluoride being put into water systems. And fluoride, it was a byproduct, aluminum fluoride. Aluminum was a big production item during World War II. Once the war was over, what are we going to do with all this? So all of a sudden, fluoride, wait a minute, help preserve dental health from dental caries. And so even though people voted against it, the industry and government came together to shove it down people's throats, ignoring the popular will. And then some research people later on would say, wait a minute, is this aluminum fluoride, is there any connection between that and the plaquing that takes place in the brain that interrupts the synaptic connections that is seen in various diseases? And so, good for the federal court. But this is just the beginning of another journey America is going to take to see how an industry co-opted the government, as it did during with cigarettes,
yes,
and nicotine famously. And, those things that we take as part of our ordinary existence and raise no questions about, suddenly somebody says, hey, wait a minute, that might be adverse to human health. And we continue to discover this over and over and over again, while the impact on human health continues to cause greater and greater misery, cutting short people's lives, creating disabilities in people who would otherwise be able to function, creating diseases that all of a sudden become more and more apparent. Mike, I'll tell you, this kind of a victory it's not just, it cannot be static. We have to tear away the veil and look very deeply right from the beginning of how these policies were pushed on the American people without their informed consent, without their ability to challenge it, and with a socialization of this substance, which just after a while just becomes another way for people to make money without giving a damn about the health effects on every individual.
Or, as you mentioned, fluoride has also been a way for certain industries to dispose of toxic waste by dumping them into the public water supply and calling it essentially medicine. But
Really?
What's so striking to me about that is that was a case of a medical intervention dispersed across the entire population without a single diagnosis or a prescription. So that was way before COVID, decades before COVID, but it was essentially a mass mandate of a medical intervention with a neurologically active chemical substance that had really no safety requirements whatsoever. You could dump almost anything into the water if you're a city, as long as it contains some amount of fluoride as one of the elements or components of the concoction. It was incredible. I did a lot of research on this too. And, you can label anything fluoride without any scrutiny whatsoever. There were no purity tests required. Incredible.
Well, I have, because I met this research scientist years ago, I always was looking for toothpaste in particular that didn't have fluoride. And I will say that we're all affected by those whom we meet and the information they bring to us. 30 years ago, I became a vegan because I was concerned about, my own health. I had Crohn's very badly. And so When I changed to vegan diet, it started to dissipate the effects of Crohn's. I added Chinese medicine, alternative medicine. I don't have Crohn's anymore, although I suffered for a good part of my life. But I see complementary and alternative medicine as part of the choices that people have to have.
That's
it
right.
should be included in regular insurance coverage so people are not impressed to have to follow a certain orthodoxy medically. Now, on the other hand, if I'm in an acute situation, I'm going to use Western medicine in a heartbeat. But
Understandable.
But nobody can tell me that I can't choose another path towards health because it's worked for me. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life, Mike, as a result of availing myself of other choices other than the traditional allopathic prescriptions. So I'm someone who I know firsthand of the different ways there are to achieve a level of human health, which is why, to me, health freedom is one of the greatest rights that we have in a republic. Because you can talk about the arc of freedom generally, but health freedom and the ability to make choices that are conducive to our health must be at the pinnacle.
Well, let me ask you this relative or related question, because the Supreme Court overturning Chevron deference is opening up certain opportunities for organizations like the Alliance for Natural Health, A&H USA, and their new lead attorney, Jonathan Emord, who I've known for many, many years, and I just interviewed him on this subject. They are going to file numerous lawsuits against the FDA over the FDA's restriction of freedom of speech about natural and alternative health solutions, including nutritional supplements, traditional Chinese medicine, like you just mentioned. Most Americans don't realize that the FDA has essentially destroyed the First Amendment when it comes to health product companies telling the truth about the efficacy of their own products. Would you support, this is my question, would you support reforms of the FDA or the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act in particular, that would help restore truthful and honest speech about alternative medicine?
Absolutely. I've already been there, Mike. The last time I was in Congress, when I proposed Medicare for all, I also had a companion proposal for complementary and alternative medicine to be included. Now, of course, the drug manufacturers resisted that.